I agree with what you're saying, Big Mike, but I think there's a deeper. I think it's a deeper level to it. No. 'Cause I don't want anyone to think that I'm condoning or advocating or justifying, because I think it always some nut shit. I think it was WWE. I'm gonna keep saying this, but then I'm gonna break it down why I think this was all scripted and paid, and I think both of their respective handlers put all this together for it to go viral. Yeah, because both of them have handlers.
Yeah.
You know, all that tough shit that Corey's always talking and blah, 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 blah. Yo, what's good, family? Welcome to another episode of Late Night Traffic Report with Mr. Sencere.
And I'm your girl, Calli.
Big Mike.
Tonight, we got a good one. Over the last 4 or 5 weeks, there's been a lot of discussion about the let's just say WWE match between Coco Anton Daniels versus Corey the Brain Screamer. We wanted to take our time before we respond to that, because there's a lot of interesting perspectives and takes on who was wrong, who was right, who won, who lost. But when you really think about it, it's like, have you ever watched two grown men almost fight over nothing on a podcast? Think about that. If that ain't some WWE shit, I don't know what is. You know, the world that we're living in right now, comedian Corey Holcomb versus Anton Daniels, what was supposed to be, at a minimum, a conversation. Perhaps, if cooler heads would have prevailed, a debate. Maybe even an interview. But tempers got the best of both.
Right.
There were statements that triggered one or both. And just to be honest, I'm not sure if this wasn't staged. That's why I keep saying it's WWE. Right? So let's jump into it. Let's unpack it. Let's start from the very beginning. The moment it all went left. What triggered the blow up? A disrespectful remark? Was it pride, ego, and a mandatory demonstration of masculinity? What's the power of words in today's society? And let's really focus on the power of words amongst two black men.
That's a subject.
So, according to the reports, that very defining moment that made everything go left is when Anton Ant-Man Daniels, was responding to a statement that apparently he felt that was disrespectful from Corey. And at that moment, the wrestling match was on. Let's talk about it. What do you all think about that? I mean, because look, if you go and you look at the video, which everybody has, it's gone viral, right? In my opinion, to be honest with you, and again, I'm going to keep calling it a wrestling match. It was WWE shit. I don't think either wanted to really fight. I'm going to be honest with you, right? When the words were exchanged, you kiss white people ass or whatever. Right. And then the retort was, you suck black men dick. And when Corey got up, trying to sell wolf tickets, which he's known for doing, right? He closed the space between him and Ant-Man, right? And for a second, he's hovering over him, right? Then he sits down, and they're looking eye to eye. And Corey, with all those fucking keys on his belt, like he's a janitor, sat down and began to say it again, say it again, say it again, say it again. And look, being from the environment in which we're from, here's my perspective, and I definitely want you guys to get in any time now.
Yeah.
If it was so disrespectful, why did he have to say it again? Because you heard him, obviously.
Clearly.
You know where I'm from, you don't got to say it again.
That many invitations.
I heard it. You feel what I'm saying? I heard it. So either if it's such a violation, you violate, we got to demonstrate.
in a public space.
That's what I'm saying.
So I want to go back to the beginning. I don't think there was a winner or loser. I think they were both losers. Because as you stated before, two grown men should have been able to get there and debate, discuss, and not get to this point.
Yeah.
But as we know, when you throw insult to me, what is what is going to be my response? You say I'm a butt kisser. Don't you think I'm gonna shoot something back at
You're
you?
a dick puncher.
Right.
That's how it goes.
So how did you get offended? Why do you get so offended when you disrespected him? He told you, "Hey man, you disrespect me, call me a butt kisser to white folks, not just a butt kisser. You kissing white folks' butt." And I throw something back. Why you get so mad? Why you get so mad?
What's your take, Calli? Because I agree with what you're saying, Big Mike, but I think there's a deeper. I think it's a deeper level to it. No. 'Cause I don't want anyone to think that I'm condoning or advocating or justifying, because I think it always some nut shit. I think it was WWE. I'm gonna keep saying this, but then I'm gonna break it down why I think this was all scripted and paid, and I think both of their respective handlers put all this together for it to go viral. Yeah, because both of them have handlers.
Yeah.
You know, all that tough shit that Corey's always talking and blah, 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 blah. We already know who Anton Daniels is, right? And that's why I say if there had to be a loser or a victor, I think that Corey wasn't prepared to have a conversation with Anton, because you can go out there and research Anton's position. He is a dick muncher of the conservative people, his conservative handlers. He goes out of his way to say the most ridiculous shit about black people all the time. You got to understand where he started. At first, he was dick munching Kevin Samuels. He wanted to be Little Cav's nephew, right? But he understood he didn't have the look, the build, the cachet, or the intelligence to do that, right? Because those are some, regardless of what you think about Kevin Samuels, and we're going to stick to what we're talking about, those are some big shoes to fill. We see plenty of clowns. I seen a clown the other day to rip Kevin's whole style. Suit, the countdown music, the candles in the back. I'm like, look at this bozo. The fragrance, everything. Just rip this style. You know what I mean? But my point is this. I think for Anton Daniels, because he is somebody in social media right now. He's in the algorithm. If you like him, dislike him or not, you have to acknowledge, right?
He's definitely not.
He's handled by the other side, right? He's willing to sell his soul for a few pennies on the dime, not on the dollar, on the dime. And you know what really put it in perspective to me is, because I was like, this brother's from Detroit. It's no way that he really believes the shit that he's saying. I saw a post or somebody sent me a short video when he's saying, look, you guys need to get out of your field. I'm just here to make money. Right? So when somebody tells you, like, I'm just here to make money, then why are you taking anything that they really say outside of just an entertainment link? Like, you shouldn't be going to follow Anton Daniels or anybody that tells you they're just here to make money. You feel what I'm saying?
Who they are.
You know who they are. I'm sorry, Calli. You jump in.
I mean, yeah, like 10 minutes later, here I go. All right. So I agree with you. I think it definitely could have been staged for likes, for views, for both sides. One thing, I think it was noted that both had security on both sides. So when the confrontation got, turned into a confrontation, it gets close, they get close to each other and close in, you notice that neither security rushed in. So what are you paying them for? But that kind of, speaks to the fact that maybe it was staged. Everyone knew to play their position. And they stayed in place because everybody knew what they were there for, to get the bag.
Everybody knew that nobody was in danger.
Absolutely.
Nobody was in danger. And
the bag was safe.
The bag was safe. And it's doing what it's supposed to do, what it was intended to do. Do we think this was just, you guys already know about it, but guys.
Okay.
both of you all. You all think it was just podcast drama, or was it something deeper at play?
Podcast drama.
I'm gonna say podcast. I'm 50-50.
Okay.
Podcast, but it's deep. What the deeper is, I haven't put my finger on it yet. Because Corey and Anton have two different audiences.
Two different audiences.
One has a nugget audience.
AKA's Ninja, AKA the other N-word.
The YN, whatever you want to call it. One has a nugget audience that it doesn't have to be any intellect, or it's just cussing and ignorance.
Yeah.
And Anton, his audience, he'll come off with the more, if you want to call it, intelligent side, or let's think about it, let's put some thought into what we're saying and go forward. So it's two different audience.
But do you? Because I don't look at Anton as
well, I would just separate the two.
Compared to Corey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Just separating the two audience.
I agree with that. But could it have been one? I'm going to triple down on this. Shit was staged. I'm 100% unequivocally positive that this shit was staged.
The more you say it, the more I'm agreeing with you that it was some WWE stuff, meaning stage.
It was staged. You know what I was looking for? I was looking, and then obviously my theory would be correct. I was looking for Corey to probably tag team in, maybe Tommy Sotomura and Ant-Man to tag in Charleston White.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I know in my mind, I think they all were there. You know what I mean? That's just how WWE this shit is. Like, let's break this down, right? The words that were exchanged to you, which you alluded to earlier, right? If you say some nut shit, some foul shit to me, it's in our culture. We got to come back. I'm coming back, right? I'm going to say something equally or more disrespectful or offensive to you, right? So the notion that I still think that it comes off like, Corey was trying to sell these wolf tickets that he does, right? And I think when he tried to close the gap regarding the space between him and Coco Anton Daniels, Anton didn't flinch. I mean, you could tell he was scared. I think Anton was kind of shook a little bit. But then I think because it was so staged, I think to your point, everybody has professional paid bodyguards, right? Corey is a bigger man than Coco, Ant-Man, right? He's a man as in Corey's a bigger no statue. Yeah, statue. So for him to kind of trying to sun him, because that's what he kind of tried to do, and that's why I said, like, Corey, you need to stop selling those trying to sell those wolf tickets. Right. Somebody's going to cash in, right?
But the reason I'm gonna go with, the more and more I think about it, thinking stage, it was closing the space. You kept saying, say it again. You put your mic down. Everything was saying it was playground type stuff. Let me get a stick, knock it over my shoulder.
Right.
Knock this off my shoulder. Knock this off my shoulder.
Say something about my
I dare to. If you knock this off my shoulder, you're saying something about my
right.
Then it went to Anton talking about, I'm from Detroit. Where you from got to do with anything else? It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Then it goes back to,
let's go out back.
Then
you got money. I
got money. You got money. Well, where are we? I'm not condoning them to fight, but I'm going to the stage portion of it.
That's what
it sounds like some Ric Flair.
That's exactly what I said. All they did was woo.
There's never been a wrestler like Ric Flair.
Woo. I mean, this shit was so corny to me.
It was all you needed was one of them to say,
I'm styling and profiling. Jet setting.
That's all you was waiting for.
I love it. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, And then just people are just losing their mind. I'm trying to disconnect. You know, I got real shit to do in real life, so I'm not in tune 100%. But people sending me shit, and I'm looking at shit. And I mean, you got Team Coco, then you got Team Corey, and I'm like, it made us look bad.
And that's where I was going. I was disappointed to the fact I'm not condoning them going outside and fighting. Because look, when you get a certain age, they'd have came back in about a minute and a half.
Tired.
They've been tired.
Been
tired.
out of breath.
But tired, out of
every shit.
Hey, sweaty.
Right.
And people were like, dang.
Ready for somebody to break it up.
Ready for somebody to break it up. Because at that age, that's not something you do all the time. You tired.
Yeah.
So let's put it there. Not condoning that, but I was disappointed because I'm like, this was supposed to be a time to say two brothers from two different arenas and get together, agree to disagree, but have a discussion, and like you say, a debate,
a conversation, something peaceful
before you go to the nugget side of town.
Because at the end of the day, these podcasts, right? These should be safe places.
Yeah.
When you go on somebody's show or you invite somebody on your show, one, you should have already did the research on them, right? Yeah. I know who's coming on the show.
Right.
You should know which show you're going into, right? But damn, like, be prepared. Apparently, after this, you got to be prepared for all things,
all
right?
kind of stuff.
But what I'm saying is, a podcast is not safe to speak your piece of your truth anymore.
Bring me here.
You know me and you're not aligned. So that's why I say the onus is on Corey. If you have to pick the victor or loser, it's your show.
Right.
It's your show. You know you and Anton Daniels, politically, ideology, a host of other things, there's no alignment between the two.
But Corey's side, the reason I don't call him the loser, he appeals to that nugget side. So his people tell, man, you punked him. You got it in his face.
But he didn't, though.
But the nugget side ain't thinking intellectual. They think
he didn't punk him. You know why I didn't think I don't think he sunned him at all. I think he tried to, and that's why I say Corey tries to sell a lot of wolf tickets. Because guys is actually in the street. Hold on, let me finish. Guys is actually in the streets. Guys that come from that. We ain't doing all that talking.
Well,
if it's time to go, if it's TTG, it's TTG.
But what I mean,
I'm not gonna ask you to say some shit again when I clearly heard you say it. If I'm offended by it, it's TTG.
Well, I think the Nuggets think, because we always think, loudest voice won the fight.
The
biggest voice in the room, a lot of times, we think that's the victim.
Listen. I mean,
we know.
I guess I'm different. I just come from a different time, a different cloth. Because technically, if you had to, Anton kind of skated off out of there in disrespect. It's like somebody coming in your house and smack the shit out of you and walk out. Kind of. You know what I'm saying? Or a guy come in your house and invite you to his private part in front of your lady and your family. You said, say it again.
Say I'm fucking. I'm right here, right now.
What type of nut shit is that? Nobody does that. So that's why I said the shit. I mean, it was WWE.
It doesn't add up, and the way that you can make it add up is the fact that it's right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the only way it makes sense.
It doesn't any other way. It doesn't. Because what was it to gain? And they're
Well, they went viral.
But that's what I'm exactly. So I think aligns with the motive. Right?
I think they were successful in what they set out to do. That's what I think.
It went viral.
I think they're handlers. I think they pre-planned this shit around the 7 minute 38 second. You do this, I do that. I think it was that damn scripted. You think that's scripted? I think it was that damn scripted.
Oh, easy money from.
What's shocking is the viral moments wasn't long. They went viral, but you don't hear anything no more about it.
No, yes, you do. That shit's still going on and popping. Anton has Coco Man, Ant-Man has said he gonna sue Corey for pinning his daughter picture. Corey is saying some shit back to him. They got some text messages.
Okay.
Man, this shit's still running.
Oh, they still running it. Okay.
Yeah, because basically Corey was saying like, in this, I think if Corey would have just kept it cool a little bit longer, right? They could have actually had a great conversation because
been a great
he
show.
could have really tried to do a deep dive, but he's not. I don't even want to say intellectual. He's not smart enough to do it. He's overly emotional. That's really what it comes down to. Because again, you invite this guy on your platform, you know he's gonna come on here and say some nut shit. You know that y'all political views, your social perspectives, nothing aligned outside of both of you guys being black men and being in this space. So if it was me, I would have tried to put all that shit aside and just try to do a deep dive and say, why do you look at things this way? Why is this your perspective?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And shut the fuck up a little bit and just listen to what he said and then pick your pieces. But nobody expects Corey to be an interview, right? Nobody expects him to be an interview.
But what it shows not just about Corey, it shows the circle around him. As you call them, the handlers, his producers, the people that are on his podcast. I'm not going to say the Darlenes, but those individuals around him that were supposed to say, here's the questions we're going to with. Here's how we're going to formulate this to make it a great debate, great discussion. Regardless how you feel, this is how we're going to keep it calm.
What does it say about our culture at the end of the day when you think about that? Like our young kids, the young men, the young women, what have you, this shit is going viral.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about our culture, right? Are we quick to escalate things or take things out of context and, amplify things? Because from a black male's perspective, you have to be masculine, and masculine equates to violence. Masculinity equates to standing up and not being disrespected, even when you're not really being disrespected, but you're overly emotional, which then makes you feel like you're disrespected. And if you're violated, then you got to demonstrate. You know what I mean? What does that really say about our culture? It feels like a vulnerability. It's a weakness.
And
it's a weakness in our community, how we grew up, how being a man is viewed, a black man. Like, we can disagree. We can agree to disagree. It's some things that you have a different POV on than I do, and we don't agree with everything, but we don't get to the point where we're ready to, put hands on each other, get in each other's face. Like, when can you just have a conversation and say, hey, I'm going into this situation understanding that you are very different than I am. You see things very differently. I'm going into this conversation with a perspective that I'm going to listen. Mm-hmm. You're not going to convince me to change. Probably not. But I can listen to your perspective. It might make me think slightly different.
I want to say for our culture, and I can't say the black women would based on that, right?
Yeah.
When emotions is high, logic is low, and we act upon emotions, ego, pride, and when that rises, I don't hear nothing else you say.
Yeah.
All I hear is, man, I'm getting ready to fight. Why? I don't know. Because we let our emotions take over. And when your emotions take over, your eardrum shut down.
Sit down, you're not actively listening.
You're not listening at all.
Yeah.
And that's our culture now. That's why, even at that, it shows age doesn't equate maturity. Because those two gentlemen, you figure you should see the more mature side of men that have been in that space for long enough to not act that way. So young culture saying, well, if they act like that, what do you think we're going to act like?
I think I agree, and I think it also just shows that they were also pandering in their own ways to their audience.
Mm-hmm.
They were speaking to their audiences because they knew what their audiences want and what their audience would respond to. So it goes back to the staging.
Yeah.
I think in order for what we talked about at the beginning, for it to be an intelligent kind of conversation between two black men, agree to disagree, it would have to be two mature black men in a space, and their objective had to be different, right? They needed to go into this.
I think their objectives should have been the same. It should have
Right.
been to have
And
a
that's the one thing that
conversation.
needed to be aligned. They could have different perspectives, but their objective needed to align. And I guess in some ways, maybe their objective did align, meaning that they both agreed that, this is WWE. But I think they needed to, even deeper than that, they needed to, that we want to send a more positive message. That's where they should have aligned.
Yeah.
Because if you are given and blessed to have platforms to reach people, how do you want to impact people? How do you want people, the content that you're creating, how do you want it to change
Or impact. Yeah.
impact people's lives,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's enough negativity and all of that out here, but people, when they see you, they see themselves in some way. Some people, they look at Anton, they look at Corey, they see themselves. So you both have, bases that you're reaching, but how do you want to reach them?
But before you say anything, I want to relate to her, and I want to go back to something you said. Everything Kay said is true. But if you go into the WWE side and you go back to a statement, I didn't see, but if you go back to the statement that you said,
Tomfoolery sells.
and you say, Anton said, he's all about the money.
Yeah.
Your rationale doesn't align with that because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I got to make this money.
Right.
So I'm going to sell my character. I don't care about
Right.
character, morals, or nothing. I'm trying to make some money.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I worry about anything else. But how can we get this algorithm going? How can we get this money coming in a different way?
And I think both of you are spot on. I think that for Anton, he's already sold. I mean, he just has, right. Personally, I'm not a fan of Corey. I think they represent a demographic differently that's within our community. But they both misrepresent core things, because what you said is, people look up to both of them, and I'm not being judgmental. If you look up to either one of them, get new role models ASAP. Because at the end of the day, Corey does his thing, but you got to look at Corey. Corey's a comedian, and he's trending now for some instead of his stand up. Right. And then hold on, and then Mr. Anton, Anton is one of several of the what I like to call propaganda moles in our community, out in the algorithm. Anton goes out of his way to always shit on or say the most disrespectful things. He never sides with black people, specifically black men. And I'm not saying nobody really, because I don't give a fuck what he thinks. I mean, look at this guy, you know what I mean? Anton is not him. Even in his mind, he think brother, you're not. The life that you have, the attention that you have, the access that you have. We seen your younger pictures. We see you now. You don't have the character. You don't have any other attributes that anybody or the mass majority of men that look like us is gonna say you are. You're not handsome. Your build is awkward. You don't have the cachet, the swag. You don't have any of those things that most black men are. And that's not me shitting on him, right? I just think Anton need to take a step back, right? I think Anton, he sold his soul, clearly. He's done that, right? That's not an opinion of mine. He tells you, I'm just here to make money. So when a guy tells you, or anybody tells you, I'm just here to make money, they have no values, they have no morals, they'll say anything. And, I'd seen him on a show a couple years back. I don't know if it was Dr. Phil, but it was some show. And I think he blew his shot to really, really take off and start being the propaganda mole for the conservative Republican, bet machine that implants a Sambo or two in all of the pockets. You know what I mean? But he just kept saying it. I'm just like, this brother is just. I just say he was just a fucking idiot. I don't want nobody. I don't want that single mom and her kids stealing my hubcaps. He said that shit like 30 times. And I'm like, brother, you couldn't come up with nothing now. You from Detroit. You say you had it the hard way. Do you really think that is the cause? Single moms and their bastard sons stealing your hubcap. It's a problem in our community. I am not trying to glaze over that. I'm not trying to skip over that. But, brother, that's the only thing you can come on that show and say. You are on a national audience. And couple the other vulnerabilities and deficiencies, how he looks, and stature, and all this, you would never be what you think you are for that particular party or that movement. Right? You just not. And I just think, like, get your money. And I get it. That's what you want to get your money. But do you have to do it at somebody else's expense, people that look like you? Because I think what you're doing is you're contributing to hurtful and damaging propaganda. Right?
I agree with
That's
that.
then weaponized against us. If you're saying, hey, even if you be like, oh, I'm just a podcaster, I'm just a YouTuber, I'm just a whatever, right? Now I think this stuff has went 100 million. Oh, it's wild.
It's wild.
You know what I mean? Which then, circulates back to his platform, which gives him more visibility. Those same, these things that you're saying, and you're looking at and saying, I don't give a fuck, I'm just making money. When those police officers or when these white people encounter these young brothers or these young people like this, all the shit you go on there say, oh, black people is this, black people is that, I don't want nobody stealing my hubcaps. You're weaponizing that train of thought that then can turn into a deadly action towards people that look like you, or look like if you would have had a son, you have a daughter, but if you would have had a son, they'd be looking at him and applying those same prejudices and biases against him. So I'm just saying, like, get your money, bro. But at some point, clearly you're fine with looking in the mirror and seeing who you see doing the shit you're doing. I'm just not willing. I'm just not that type of person. You know what I mean? And then I think for Corey needs to really just, he has his audience and he does the numbers that he does. But I think if Corey really wants to evolve and really have a wider audience, you got to lay off some of that tough shit. That tough shit and that ignorant shit. You trying to fight your guests. Bro, like who does that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then if someone comes on next, they might really be ready to to
hit his big ass with a pair of brass knuckles or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And if you had security, that's why I know it was staged. They might not get the memo that this might be real because they were sitting back watching you and Ant-Man go at it. Now nigga that might just hit you in your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you doing all that woofing and acting time.
Well, I don't listen to too much of both of them, but get a clip here, a clip there. When it comes to Anton, can't see him, man. Do you? Now Corey on the side, he said some great stuff. I seen a clip when he was talking about his kids. Mm-hmm. That showed me who he was. No matter how you feel about your children, for you to say that in public, it shows me his character.
Yeah,
where his morals are, because
or lack
thereof.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I was like, yeah, ain't nobody you want to follow, because we all have disagreements. His is with his children, but for you to put it in public, like you treating them like a stranger. If I never talk to them, I'm washing them. That shit.
But can I be devil's advocate for a second? That's your POV. That's your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I respect it. Could he be so hurt by it? We already said he's overly emotional.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed like that was just emotion pouring out to me than anything. Because here's the thing.
That's what anger.
That's what right. Right. It's about how you control it. And I don't know his situation. It is what it is. I did see that episode, and it took a second for me to figure out he was talking about his own kids. I was like, who was he talking about? You
I
know
watched
what I'm
the
saying?
clip. I'm like, oh,
So, but you know what I mean? But what I will say is I think sometimes when you are a grown man and overly emotional, and that's why I tell both of my boys, in particular my youngest son,
Mhm.
like, rule number one, keep your emotions in check. Right? Because that sometimes can be the difference between life or death. And I don't want to compare life or death to what Corey was saying, but what I'm saying is I think that he hasn't, when I look at that, I see somebody that's really hurt,
Oh, I did see some
pain, and he's lashing out.
lashing out.
And he doesn't have the skills, or he doesn't have somebody, a big homie in his life, a big homie or a big mom in his life to be like, look, you're screaming for help. You don't know how to process this information. It's a different way to do it.
Different format.
It's a different format. So, again, I'm not advocating, I'm not justifying what he did because I don't know the intricate of that situation. But I do know sometimes getting in front of this mic and having these conversations, it can be therapeutic. I do know that sometimes when you are presenting yourself 100% at your most vulnerable moment, things don't come out necessarily as polished. Sometimes you just let emotions go, right? And perhaps that was his situation. Again, I'm not advocating for him, but I'm just saying, like, I just know that sometimes, especially dealing with children, peaks and valleys, highs and lows, especially as those kids get older. And if you had like baby mamas and all that shit, that's a whole nother episode, right?
Got a lot going on.
So I'm not going to get in and say that the reason why I don't like his material or follow him is because of that. And that's obviously, your right, your perspective. But I do think that, to kind of close the conversation about this particular stage, WWE 60, whatever number you want to give it, right? Again, I think we missed a deeper conversation or opportunity. I think that, with the behavior that both of these guys displayed is almost like, why coming into a podcast, you're approaching it like you're going on the street. That's what this kind of set the narrative at. Why does these disagreements trigger threats rather than dialogue? Right? We should be able to debate anything, right? Relationships, politics, sports, fatherhood, parental stances, anything. But the moment if we feel disrespected, why is aggression displayed rather than articulation? Emotions, right? So to wrap up tonight's episode, right? I think we did a really good job of giving a different perspective because I haven't seen thinking that it was staged and both of them were, being handled by their handlers, right? And at the end of the day, it did what it's supposed to do. It drove the numbers up. And you think about it, not even getting into 20 minutes of a podcast or a conversation before the shit blows up. Right. That's even more proof to me, right?
I'm leaning that way.
So let's be clear, right? Nobody wants fake peace. I think it was a great opportunity for both of them to go there and just speak their mind. But genuine respect is not the absence of a disagreement, right? Respect is the ability to disagree without getting violent, without being offended, without really ready to escalate it to another level. If every podcast conversation ends in a near fight, then maybe it's not the podcast's fault. Maybe it's ours. It's the people that we invite. It's the host. I don't want to see any more people fighting, near fighting, or posturing that they're fighting, or jumping off of tables like it's WWE. Especially not in our.
Yeah, we don't need.
They already have these negative stereotypes about us. Why perpetuate it? Why? Why would we do that, right? Understanding that we can agree to disagree, right? Understanding that we all have our own perspectives, but always keep it in the person next to you, the person beside you, however the podcast is a human being that has his or her own perspective, their own values, their own moral, the way that they see the world. They have their own lens that they see the world. And we all just need to respect.
I think that's the key. That's that last portion is the key, right? Understanding we all have a different view, a different opinion, the way we see and go respond to different things. Lastly, on the funny side, you can call me WWE. Triple H, go ahead and get him.
Okay, Calli, what you got?
Yeah, I think agreeing to disagree. I think we need more of that. We need more bottles of that in our community.
Just more of that. More positive.
We need more positivity. We need more
we
maturity.
We need more debates. We
Yeah.
definitely need more debates.
But this just hit me. I think in our community, we need more truth without the truth being so offensive.
Well, hold on. That's
I know that's
a whole nother episode.
So,
But it's loaded though.
it's loaded.
The truth should never be a
Our community,
should never be a
They want it packaged in a certain type of way. Because I was just having a conversation with someone earlier. They agreed with me, but it was the and it wasn't a harsh delivery, but it was maybe the word choice.
Well, words are weapons.
That they didn't like, hold on, I agree.
that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
That is-
conversation. So let's just leave it with a power quote. Excuse
We'll
me.
leave you a little cliffhanger. You gotta come back.
Truth,
Watch the
quick
next
cliffhanger.
Words are a weapon, but disrespect makes bad feelings. Let's just leave it there. So the next episode, stay sturdy, choose wisely. We'll catch you in traffic. Hey.